Welcome to Future Foodcast. I'm Pam Miller, your host. Do you know what the most innovative country has been for 14 years in a row? I didn't know either, but it's Switzerland. At only 0.1% of our world population, they are small but mighty, and there's a lot that we can learn. So I am really excited to have with us Christina Senn-Jakobsen. She is the CEO of the Swiss Food and Nutrition Valley in Switzerland. Welcome to the show, Christina.
Thank you very much, Pam, and thanks for having us with you today.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about today because you have so much happening, as I said, with innovation there in Switzerland. And you're particularly with the Valley, or we can shorten that a little bit, I think, from the introduction. But please explain for us what you do, how Switzerland works, and how you work with Switzerland.
Yes, I would love to do that. And I like your introduction, small but mighty, because I actually looked it up and Switzerland fits into the United States 240 times. So that puts a little bit of sizable magnitude to it. What do we do? Well, innovation, food innovation has been happening in Switzerland for decades, actually for centuries. And only 4 years ago, we then founded Swiss Food and Nutrition Valley, also known as the Valley, with the mission to pioneer future-proof food systems and bring together and strengthen the Swiss food ecosystem. So we're set up as a non-profit association, we're purpose-driven, and we work collaboratively.
Okay, so this sounds like there's a lot of collaboration and cooperation happening there in Switzerland, which is wonderful. We love to see that. So talk about one of our keywords here at Future Foodcast is transformation and innovation. You're right in the middle of all of that, but help us understand what's going on with the food systems right now.
Yeah, I think the first important thing to know is, as you say, food systems. We always talk pluralists here because although we can say there are two global challenges, the climate crisis and the human health crisis, where our food systems today are unfortunately contributing to that in a negative way. The challenges are very different depending on where in the world you are. But in general, we can see globally, the food systems contribute to more than 30% of the greenhouse gas emission. We know that our agriculture is the number one driver of biodiversity loss. We have an exploitation of our oceans. And on the other hand, with the human health crisis, we are just at the doorstep of having half of the world's population, 4 billion people, who are obese. In 2035, it will be that number. And on the other hand, we have 2 billion people, a quarter of the population, who do not have access daily to safe and nutritious food. So it's, without any doubt, it's not a debate anymore. We need to transform the global food systems. And the only way to do that is through collaboration throughout the value chain and beyond. And we refer the beyond to the whole ecosystem. So we can take a closer look at our ecosystem. And for those of you who are looking at YouTube, I brought this painting almost with me. And for those of you listening in, I will try and describe it for you to my best ability. It is actually a picture of a Swiss valley. And here we see a river running through and growing trees and mountains, and the sun is shining, and there's a house in the front. And what we say is that within the ecosystem, every sector is representing a part of this fruitful valley, which is indeed living in harmony with the planet and being very nutritious for the people. So to give an example, the river is symbolizing the academic world, our universities. It's the water full of nutrients, it's full of talents, it's full of IP and knowledge. And it goes into the soil where it feeds these little sprouts coming up, the little plants, which are all the startups. That's where talents and IP goes. But also the large trees, which symbolizes the large enterprises carrying more fruit. And in the background, the sun is shining. The sun is symbolizing the government, because the government sets a legal framework to let innovation grow and unfold. And it's very, very important. We can call that the photosynthesis. And there's also the farmers in the picture, the citizens, the restaurants, the food service, and retail. And for the one who has a really good eye, he or she will be able to spot a bee in the middle of this valley painting. And that bee symbolizes Swiss Food and Nutrition Valley, the valley. So we are a group of hardworking people, a little bit insignificant of size, but what we ensure is that all these different partners get cross-pollinized and become even better at doing what they have to do to drive these sustainable food systems. So I don't know, Pam, but I like this picture. It gives me hope and peace, and it makes sense.
And it actually really helps conceptualize, as a visual, what you're doing there, and the collaboration and innovation and also government support that happens in Switzerland. And I know you have a whole ecosystem of partners and companies that you work with, which I think you also have a visual of.
Yeah, so today, 4 years into the journey, we have more than 150 partners. We always refer to partners and not members, because partners work with you and members you have to service. So who are these 150 partners? It's a large group. And again, I'm sharing a map for those who are on YouTube, and for the listeners, I will try and describe. It's a lot of logos. It's 155 logos. The majority are startups, new Swiss businesses with new technologies arising. But we also have more than a handful of large global enterprises. We have academics, we have government centers, we have SMEs, and the group we call innovation enablers, which are more accelerators or investment related. And then, of course, also the food service and the retail sector here. So it's what we call the ecosystem. And we always say to the partners when they join any of our projects or sessions, welcome to the ecosystem. Please leave your ego outside the door. So that's the valley.
That's great. And everybody plays their part. Thanks for having that.
Food systems are very complex. The challenge is that we cannot work in silos. We cannot fix a problem one place without it impacting other places within the food system. But if we have to look at it in a simple way, it's 3 steps. And I'm again sharing here a visual for the ones looking in at YouTube. And for the listener, I will describe these 3 steps for you. Because the food system transformation, in any transformation, is actually just 3 things that needs to be done. First, we need to identify the problems, the challenges with the current system, and understand them well. Next, we need to build solutions. And third, we need to roll them out at scale. Now, from a global view, and this goes for Switzerland and it goes for the United States, we have a pretty good take on what are the challenges with our food systems today. We know that thanks to a lot of research done by academia and also by companies and research centers. So here we have ticked the box. We know what the challenges are. When it comes to building solutions, we have a lot of startups who's taking that on, and also the large enterprises. And there is numerous solutions out there ready to be rolled out, ready to be scaled. The place where we're sort of failing all around the world is step 3, namely implementing it at scale. And here it's difficult to say who's responsible, and it's something that you often hear discussed in meetings or in sessions. Whose responsibility is it to roll this out? Is it the government? Is it the citizen? Is it the companies that needs to take responsibility? The system we work with in Switzerland is that we say that, well, the empowering responsibility lies with the ecosystem. So everybody from the producers, the farmers to the legislator, everybody in the valley picture has a responsibility here. But the ones who need to make it happen are actually the citizens of the world, the 8 billion people. They need to embrace these solutions and take it on. And this is where it gets challenging, because not everybody can get a doctorate degree in food systems or care about the planet or animal welfare. Often it's a bigger question getting food on the table. And that's where the responsibility bounces back to the ecosystem. We need to ensure that the nutritious food produced with good planetary health in mind is also affordable, great tasting, and very convenient to make. Now, another challenge with this is that when we do make research, normally a research project will cost around $0.5 to $1 million. Scaling it or building the solution, making the innovation, is price tag anything between $1 to $100 million. But when we come up to implementing it at scale, we are talking billions. Actually, it's been tagged at on average $4 billion per solution to be rolled out globally. And nobody really wants to pay that price. But if we do not start changing and transforming our food system, we know that the consequences are massive. We have the environmental degradation, mass migration, hunger, loss of jobs, food scarcity, and much more. And that has also been price tagged. And here we're talking trillions. So so it's good business, Pam, to actually drive the transformation to implement at scale before we have a much more costly disaster upon us.
Thanks for that overview. And I think what I'm hearing is that, everybody has a part to play in this. I mean, certainly people see answers to problems, and they're innovating and then trying to build solutions. But we as citizens also have responsibility. But I know that you've had some successes with food transformation and changes that have been happening. I mean, we talked before about ultra processed foods, for example, which, as citizens, we can act with our pocket, our wallet. We can choose what we're buying in the store or the farmer's market and stop choosing some of those ultra processed foods. But you probably have more innovative solutions or examples of what's come out of what you've created there.
Well, I think ultra-processed food is a great example of, where we need to support the citizens, because there's a lot of miscommunication going around. And ultra-processed food is not a one-sided story. It is a complex affair. We all agree that salt, fat, and sugar intake should be lowered. And that's often what we find a lot of in ultra-processed food. But it's not so much the processing as it is the formulation that's a challenge. And we also need to acknowledge, for feeding the world, we do need food that can travel safely and have a shelf life and stand the distance to reach corners where they do not have fridges and so on. And at the same time, we, the ecosystem, need to enable people to get hold of fresh food and conveniently cook that and make that a part of the dinner too. It doesn't mean that we can never have a quick pizza in the oven, but serve that pizza with some vegetable sticks or something else very convenient from the freezing department, full of fibers and vitamins, and supplement that. So it's education, and it's where technologies and innovation also comes in. Because historically, we would put a lot of ingredients and e-numbers in a product, and that's not driving health. So with new technologies, we can reduce all these ingredients and produce something tasty and affordable and nutritious with which we couldn't before. So that's where innovation plays an important role.
And I love coming up out of all the problems and the issues that are existing in the food systems right now that we previously talked about into some of the positive. There are some solutions out there. There are great ideas that are being implemented. And actually, if you have a particular success story you might be able to share to help our audience visualize what the outcome of all that you're doing there at the Valley is, if you could share with us.
Yes, I brought an example because we often think of startups as a hero group of very brave people, and they are heroes, and they are very brave. But actually, it takes a nation, it takes a whole ecosystem to support them going from the idea to success. We have a company in Switzerland called Planted, and what they do is they take pea proteins and make plant-based meat analogs. So something that looks like chicken and tastes like chicken, but it's never seen a chicken. It's just made from plants. And they actually only have 3 ingredients in there and not a lot of bad stuff. So where does this come from? Well, they were some graduates from one of our lead universities in Switzerland, ETH, and got a pioneer fellowship there, went on and joined different innovation enablers, accelerators, and trainings. And then they launched their product with the food service. So all the little outlets of burger bars and restaurants and nursing homes as well, actually, where they took this chicken analog and made burgers and pitas and nice stuff with it. Moving on, they got some investment, both Swiss and foreign investment, to build their production plant and scale it, and entered a lot of our retailers. In Switzerland, we have a duopoly between 2 retailers called Coop and Migros. And from there, they have now launched all over Europe and being embraced by all the citizens. So this is a journey that has only taken about 4 years for them to scale it up, because they were supported and embraced by the whole food system. And I think it's a wonderful example how these innovations can do something good for the planet and for the people. They currently defined as ultra processed, but it's actually a really healthy processed pea protein. So that's one of our success stories.
Yeah, that's very exciting. And the company's called Planted. So if anybody wants to look it up and see, but that's just, what you've enabled there in Switzerland. And I think, you have, like you said, you're the most innovative country in the world, 14 years in a row. So you've got a lot of things figured out that maybe other countries can benefit from. So how are you maybe helping other areas of the world handle some of the challenges that are in the food systems?
Yeah, so being the number one innovation economy is of course an opportunity that lies within all that innovation power, but it's also an obligation, and especially when we talk about the food system and the food sector. So what we see is that there's 2 ways of engaging with the world around us. One is inviting companies in to join, be a part of this success, come to Switzerland, use the ecosystem, use the innovation power. We are a talent attraction nation number 1, and we know there is a fight about talents. I don't know really what it is, Pam, if it's of course the beautiful country and the opportunities, and there's a lot of headquarters here. It's safe, you make a good salary, you're surrounded by other clever people, and then there's the mountains just outside the front door to go skiing and mountain biking and stuff. So it's many different reasons to be attractive, but we managed to attract talent, and being the talent attraction nation number 1. And so within that and these opportunities and obligations, we play with inviting more talents, companies, individuals to come, but also ensure that our innovation goes out where it matters the most. Because in all honesty, making a Swiss food system sustainable will not change the climate crisis, and will not make less people globally obese, nor feed more mouths. So we need to engage with impact nations, large nations, with frontline food nations, where they really need to feed people nutritiously. And that is our obligation. When I talk obligation, opportunity, it used to be that either you go for profit or you would go for purpose. And I think it's a wonderful time and age we're in now, because 2024, soon 2025, you don't have to choose sides. You cannot be purpose-driven without being profitable. You need to have a business running there. And on the other hand, you shouldn't be profitable without driving purpose. So yeah, they go hand in hand. And also for Switzerland, we need to go out with this privilege we have of having so much innovation force. It's our obligation to engage with the world.
Well, Christina, you are right. I mean, there is so much to be happy to come to Switzerland. Very attractive country for a number of reasons. And also, you have a little bit different structure to your education system than some countries, which I think is also attractive to some people.
Yes, we have this dual track apprenticeship system, which is not known everywhere in the world. But of course, in Switzerland, you can take the route to the universities and study there for many years. But you also have the opportunity with this apprenticeship to go out and work and learn and go to school and back and learn and go to school. And that actually means that we have a third one also with the whole applied science academic institutions. But it actually means that when we look at our businesses, we have qualified people on all levels and motivated and experts on all levels. And that we also believe is a part of this innovation nation success, because innovation is not, let's just clarify that, it's not about being full of ideas and suggestions. Innovation is when it's applied and it goes into action. So this applied action success is also very much, I believe, due to our unique education system and having super talents on all levels. And also with this apprenticeship track, you can work your way up and become an amazing CEO. We have lots of those today.
Well, that's really exciting that you combine all of that. And I appreciate that Switzerland's gotten a lot of things figured out, and you also feel obligated to share with the world. So we that are not in Switzerland really appreciate that. We do have worldwide listeners, so listen up depending on what country you're in. But you also, speaking of working with the world, do some work with the United Nations.
We recently signed a letter of intent with FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, which is a specialized agency under United Nations. Their mission is to defeat hunger globally and make sure that everybody has nutritious food and can lead an active and healthy life. So again, with our innovation power, we looked who can we team up with, who knows where are the burn points in the world, where it's not just about improving lives, but maybe also saving lives. And FAO has a lot of knowledge and do a lot of excellent work around the world. And now we are putting together a mechanism where we can take the knowledge of what is needed and identify the matching Swiss innovations that will address this, take it through a secret recipe mechanism to make it adaptable for this nation, and pilot it and hopefully roll it out at scale successfully.
Very exciting application and taking action on all that you know, partnering with them. So that's really great. Thanks for bringing that out. Well, you really have helped other countries that have different challenges. Do you have some other tips for them by chance that you'd like to share for those that are listening around the world?
Yeah, so Switzerland is not the only leading food nation in the world. We also have Singapore out in Asia, who are very strongly investing in food system innovation. We have the Netherlands, Denmark, Israel. Interestingly, small countries, all of them who have this need to step up on the food agenda. And then there's a lot checking in to the valley and saying, hey, we would like to build a valley as well. And how do we go about this? One thing is really foster collaboration. It's we used to do things on our own, whether we were a large enterprise or we were a small company, we kept our secret close. But the way of successfully driving business today is through collaboration. And here ecosystems can go forward with this. So I think it's our number one value is collaboration. Then courage is very important when we talk about innovation and change. You have to go out where things haven't been done before and bring people on board. Say we instead of I. So this courage is absolutely also needed. So make sure you staff the team with very courageous / foolish people who are willing to go and do what hasn't been done before. And then there's so much expertise out there, and do not shy away from asking for help. And there's a large willingness to paying it forward, whether we work with one of our partners being Nestle, the world's largest food company, and asking them for help, or we work with one of our startups, probably the smallest food company in the world, and ask for their engagement. People are very eager to contribute. We all acknowledge we're part of these challenges, and we're therefore all a part of the solutions. So be vulnerable is probably also a good idea. That was just some top of mind thoughts.
I know. Wisdom from the top of your head as CEO of the Valley, we appreciate for sure. Thank you. Thank you for that. If any of our listeners are interested in learning more about what you're doing, where can they find out more information?
Yes, we would love to talk and engage with anybody who is either curious about engaging with Switzerland as a food nation, or maybe there's even somebody from Switzerland listening in who wants to engage with the US. Switzerland Global Enterprise is a partner of Swiss Food Nutrition Valley, and they're specialized in helping companies that want to engage in Switzerland in getting knowledge, connections, and anything they might need. So I'm sharing here a webpage, and to our listeners, I will try and spell it out. It's www.s-ge.com/foodtech.
And we'll have all the links on the show notes for those that are listening on the podcast channels. You can check your show notes, and the links will be there for that. Do you have anything else to add before we go, Christina? I feel like we've just sucked a lot of wisdom from you this morning for our audience, which we so appreciate you sharing. Is there anything else that's on your mind that you'd like to share before we go?
Well, something else we're also looking a lot into in the whole food systems transformation is AI. AI is an accelerator to do this fast enough. And we see with both from our universities, there's lots of research going on and big departments building up there. But we also have some great startups who have taken the use of AI into their business. Now, one example is the company Eco Robotics. It's a precision farming. It's all about photo recognition with the help of AI, being able to identify and tell the tractor what to do. Is this a plant that needs pesticides or fertilizer and whatever? And in summary, they reduce the use of chemicals by between 95 and 97% and increase the yield. So, and very interesting farming use of AI. We also have another startup, a Fruitful AI, which look on the visual inspection of the systems in agricultural products, how we produce it and how the quality is. And again, here improves the manufacturing and the growth process with the use and the application of AI, and many, many more. So I think where AI is used many places in the world, Switzerland have sort of found a niche in applying it to the agro-food system, and we see some great and exciting results coming out of that.
Yeah, thank you for those excellent examples. I mean, it's really helping us to visualize what you're actually doing there at the Valley and what the outputs are. And certainly the cutting edge technology like AI is really going to be taking us into the future. It's changing seemingly daily. So thank you for bringing those out to us.
Firstly, I would like to say thank you to you, Pam, and also to all your listeners for listening in. And secondly, I would like to encourage everybody to take a moment in your work or also privately and reflect on the decisions you make and the things you do and what you can do. and if these decisions are more a part of the challenge or more driving the solutions, because ultimately it doesn't matter if we work for a large company or an SME or we are in a startup, it matters. And sometimes we do not have time at our hands to sit down and think about this. And hence that is maybe my encouragement for everybody to block your calendar for half an hour, go for a walk, and with an old-fashioned notebook and pen in your hand, and do some reflection on your role in this food system transformation. And then I wish you best of luck with it.
Again, thank you so much. And for our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us some comments and let us know. We'd love to engage with you. And I know Christine and her organization would love to engage with you as well. Please subscribe and we'll be sure to get the next show to you. Until then, I'm Pam Linemiller.
Thanks for listening to Future Foodcast. Future Foodcast is powered by Farm to Plate, the leading food blockchain platform. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts to stay up to date with the very latest innovations in the food industry.